Hey y'all, I'm Courtney.
And I'm Sarah.
And this is Bodice Siblings,
the podcast where we read all the books we used to steal off our grandmother's nightstands.
And then we drink about it.
On this episode, we read Talisman of Valdegarde by Madeleine Simon. This is a Heart Quest choose-your-own-adventure Dungeons and Dragons book. So the only thing you need to worry about is that you're going to have massive anxiety for reading it because you're going to be not sure if you pick the right choice, and then you're going to be eaten by a weasel, and then you're going to have dog-eared pages so you can go back and make a different choice, and you're going to be constantly concerned that you're cheating or like whatever. So obviously I have maybe some choose-your-own-adventure trauma. This is delving.
For me, I was not a choose your own adventure person, and so this was like, I was like, oh, I remembered why I hated these books.
I was obsessed, but I still remember why they gave me just like, like massive anxiety. So that will happen to you. And there's, I don't know, spiders.
Yeah. Giant spiders. So, hey y'all. First, happy Easter. You guys won't hear this on Easter, but we're recording it on Easter.
Candy's still on sale.
Yeah, again, last big candy event for a while, so.
Go eat up,
have that hollow bunny. I miss the Palmer old school hollow bunnies with like the eyes that would pop off.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen one of those in a while, yeah.
So kind of, we're tying it all in because we're going old school, the old school Palmer bunny, and now we're on the old school book. So for those of you who might be like me, and really didn't know a whole lot about D&D before Stranger Things.
Yeah, big surprise that Sarah was the big old nerd in high school and Courtney was not.
So this book is it stems from the Dungeons and Dragons world. It takes place in that universe, and the games themselves were created in 1974, and it's a role-playing game, social game. You get together, everybody decides what I have played a game. I have played one game. We lost the quest though. Like it was our first quest and we just failed it. So, I don't.
Well, that's okay if you
I don't know what that says about me.
Continue to role-play and have fun with it. It's not really a goal-oriented sort of pursuit.
So I was like, no, we have to win. I had to be super type A about it. All right. So these books this came from the Heart Quest line, and the Heart Quest line stemmed from another book line that were the Dragonlance novels.
No, that was the Endless Quest book. Dragonlance is a kind of D&D.
Okay. So yes, they came from what was the name of them?
Endless Quest. The
Endless Quest. So these are the Heart Quest books. And the Heart Quest books, there were 6 of them, and they were written by romance novelists under pseudonyms. And they feature young female protagonists who all take on one of the roles that you can take in the game. So you have a wizard, you have a druid, you have a mage, or I don't know if that's a thing. Yeah, you have a bard. And it's, her going through learning about her power and having a fantasy adventure and falling in love. Now, these books were kind of created under this misguided attempt to bring more women into the game, even though women were playing it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think I was surprised that they only, it's like they didn't do enough, right? They just put out 6 and then they just quit.
Yeah.
Because if this had been around, this was a bit early. This is 83. When I was a young teenager and super into fantasy and super into D&D, except that I didn't have enough friends to consistently play D&D, I would have been so excited. I read so many Weiss and Hickman books. Man, Dragonlance was my fucking jam, bitch. You've been talking about Dragonlance. This would have been awesome because I also read all these romance novels, but they had already long given up on these by the time I was in that
the perfect age for it.
And the thing is that a lot of women wanted to play D&D, but then they joined these game groups that were so fucking gross.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and still have and just got completely chased out of ever enjoying a really fun social hobby.
Just mouth breathing gross dudes.
Yeah, just every time that
with ponytails, they always have a ponytail.
Well, it's more that any time in this story that somebody could get fucking raped, that sort of thing. I've heard just horrible stories about people who will never play a fighter because the second you start laying hands on somebody, it's always I grabbed her boobs. What? Why? And I mean, why were these people not censured by the other people who were there? It's a sad failure on behalf of nerddom in general, and it makes me sad. But I would have been super excited about these, but they just made a little feint in this direction, and then they kind of gave up.
And
obviously,
big ups to, and we'll put a link to it in the show notes, Megan Ball. She wrote an article for Tor.com called Roll for Romance, the Forgotten D&D Romance Novels of 1983. So we got a lot of our information from her.
And these are incredibly out of print. I mean, like they're this one I just looked on Amazon, $260. We got it via interlibrary loan, so I'd like to thank the nice people at Jerseyville Free Library who still have the little date due pocket in this permabound yellowed little artifact. So I really appreciate you sending this super out of print, expensive book to us, guys.
They're probably like, bless those nerds' heart.
Yeah, right? Like somebody wants it.
And also the Bowling Green State University Pop Culture Library also has a lot of these books too. So, all right, let's jump into this.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain what happens in a choose your own adventure book. So I guess we can talk about the choices that we made.
Yes.
Yeah, so Gwynne is our young druidess, and she's young. I mean,
she's just turning 15 or 16.
She feels more like 12. I mean, like,
Yeah.
she feels really, I think that is also a mistake that these books made. If they're all like this, they feel too young. Mm-hmm. You know, I mean, she feels real stupid.
Yeah.
She is really young. And so she lives, her father is dead, and he was the leader. I'm not sure what his administrative title was, but
He was head druid.
Head druid of Valdegarde.
Yes.
And so there's prophecies. It doesn't matter, whatever. There is a Talisman of Valdegarde, because it's like the title of the book. There's a whole prophecy around it that, like, in other words, like the bad guys would not still be concerned about this guy if he were actually as dead as everybody thinks he is.
Yes.
So there's one particular bad guy. His name is Lightyear.
Right.
He's a half orc, I think.
Yeah, and the book kicks off. It's like Gwynne and her sister Tessa, they're playing with some deer. They can talk to them. It's very cute. Like, oh, petting baby deer. And then all of a sudden, an ogre or an orc,
A troll.
one of the, comes and takes Tessa. And I get killed from the jump because I was like, what do you do? And I was like, well, I guess I'm jumping down this well to get her. And then I drown in the well. It's very disconcerting how, like, it's written. It's like,
I thought I was being, like, stupidly cowardice. Like I was like, what a craven little bitch I am. I went and got back running to Aunt Beryl, but it turns out that was absolutely
you made the right choice. Like, yeah. And so I had to go back and went to Beryl, and Beryl's like, well, you got to go find this, like, dwarf guy, Crim.
I don't remember. Crim,
Yeah.
I think.
And then you go on this adventure to try to find Crim. And then you meet this blonde named Neil. And I was like, I automatically was like, nope, do not trust Neil.
He's a bard, and he is clearly sleazy as hell. So, like, it was like, do you go with Neil or do you do what you're told and go to find Crumb? Like, obviously.
Yes.
We both said absolutely not. Well, it turns out that, like, you were supposed to, like, wholeheartedly fall head over heels for Neil. That was the only way you get your kissing scene is if you went with him for the jump. And I was like, no, that dude was sleazy. That guy was, like, obviously lying through his teeth. I would no more have gone, no. Never go to a second location with a bard.
Named Neil.
Oh, my God.
That was the other part was like, we got like Gwynne, Beryl, Tessa, and then Neil.
Yeah, Neil.
And
then I assumed, because, I mean, like, not that all romances have a choice between two men, but that is a choose your own adventure. So I figured there'd be two dudes. I was like, well, let's go find the other one, because Neil is obviously, like, not it for me. No, there's just Neil.
I was the same way. I was like, well, this is obvious. Yeah, I was like, this is going to have like a Twilight situation where, like, this is obviously the Edward, the incorrect choice.
Yeah.
Like, where is the Jacob, the correct choice? The alive one. Where is that?
But no. But no, it's just Neil.
Just Neil.
And Neil never stops being weird and
shady.
And
like, Neil is like that guy that you meet at a college party that's like, hey.
Speaking of do not go to the second location, do not watch your drink around Neil.
Oh, Neil is definitely doing stuff. So me and Neil, I left Neil, or tried to leave Neil, but Neil kept...
Oh, no, Neil follows you. You can't get fucking rid of Neil.
You can't get rid of Neil. And, go to we're in a house. I got killed again when I had to choose between a statue and a little tiny golden casket.
That was later. That was like when you get to the talisman.
Yeah.
Did you pick the goth choice? Because I went for the statue and that was correct.
I went for the goth choice.
Nope.
No, I got poisoned that time. And it was like, well, I hope somebody, I got put into like a deep sleep. And like the last thing is like, well, I hope Neil kissed me so I can wake up.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, no.
Oh, man. Can you imagine if you woke up and Neil was there?
Like, oh, Neil again? Like, I was hoping that I could sleep long enough that Neil would just die out. And then my Jacob makeup or, whatever would show up.
Just anybody.
No, Neil was all points wrong.
Well, so you meet Crumb or Brum or whatever he is. He's not hot. Well, first you meet this dude with a weasel, and I did get eaten by the weasel at least once. Every time you have an opportunity to try to talk to an animal, it just does not work. Like, eventually it was one time, but like, this is what druids do. And she's like, I'm such a good druid. No, you're not.
You keep getting eaten.
Yeah. I mean, the last thing that should happen to a druid is you get eaten by animals. Mm-hmm. But no, happens all the fucking time. So I got eaten by a weasel, and then you choose to go through like the spider hall.
Yeah, the
spiders got me at least once.
Yep, I got gotten by the spiders once.
You have like a necklace of bombs, and then like one of those wands that wand of wonders that like gives you whatever. Well, that thing killed me at least 4 times.
I think what
one time it turned me into a mouse.
Yes, and then you meet Beryl, who is a mouse. Beryl has you shrink down. Mm-hmm. Did you get shrunk down?
Yeah, I got shrunk down.
I got shrunk down and I was talking to Beryl, who's a mouse, and she's like, "Hey, girl, what's up? I'm a mouse. Gotta go. You're tiny." Boop.
Beryl's great. I liked Beryl a lot. And so there was all this like hijinks in the castle, all this business. There's a secondary bad guy. There's a great scene where it's where you had to choose between the statue and the coffin. But like in the chair, if you sit in the chair, it's a mimic, which of course is a classic D&D monster. But then like Neil's like interrogating the mimic, and the mimic's like, "Dude, I don't know. I just fucking work here." It was the most like
that part was fun.
It was great. I enjoyed the mimic very much. It was the best part for sure. But then like there's all sorts of other options, and like
and she finds out her mom is alive.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Her mom, Rava or something. And then it was like, choose between Neil or save your mom. And I was like, well, I'm obviously saving mom.
Yeah, fuck
I think I got killed again.
No, I think you did because I don't know. She wasn't alive because Lightyear can change shape. And that's why at the beginning I thought that Neil was got to be the bad guy.
Yes.
But no, that was just the way he looks. It's just his face. He has that kind of face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was like it turns into your mom. You're like, no. And then you had to pick like who's not the bad guy in that shape change. And I guess you chose poorly.
I'm not good at these. I told you this is, and the other thing about them is I get so stressed about them that I'd I just start skimming to see like,
is it going to take you? Because you start to learn like the bad death page, like,
and I get so mad if there's like 2 pages and then you die. I'm like, no, just kill me in a half a paragraph so I can go back.
Exactly.
Like just rushing,
there was one, and it was in space. I remember when I was a kid, and like you kept dying and being tossed out an airlock, and it was like save was page 42, and like half the pages ended like go to page 42. Like, no, fuck you, fuck the fuck out of you.
So basically, you were just reading like spec scripts for Battlestar Galactica.
Yes, exactly.
Like back when like Rosalind just gets all crazy about the airlock. Airlock. That man, she loved airlock.
I know. That was when she was good, before she got shot in the cancer.
She didn't get shot in the cancer.
She got shot in the cancer. Don't even with me. She got shot in the cancer.
Oh, God. She was just airlock. Oh, God. I want to go back and watch that.
I know, man. Oh, yeah. When she had, like, no fucks to give, that was like, that was
airlock.
Yes, give me that. No, so yeah, and there was also one that I read when I was a kid, and I think it was about Atlantis, because in the very middle, like the middle, it was a 2-page spread, this beautiful like drawing of Atlantis, but it was a fucking fake out for cheaters because you could not get there. There is no page that would lead you there. So obviously they thought, well, you're gonna look around.
This is my problem with these books. I can't stand these. Like, I really again, this book took me back.
Head games.
Because I just could not immerse myself in it, because I'm like, I'm gonna have to like go back and choose things. You know what would make them fun? If like you could, if you're gonna bring them back now, the way to do it is like put stickers or like tabs or something, to where basically it's like a burn this book after you use it, like where you ruin it, kind of like, to where you can put tabs on where you've been, like little stickers or something, to make it a little bit more, I don't know. I just hate them. I hate choose your own adventure.
Choose your own adventure for people with anxiety.
Yes, exactly. And that's what happened. I was like, God, I can't. Just every time.
I want the best for her because she's young and really stupid.
Yeah, but like, and then like she ends up, of course.
I didn't want her to get date raped by Neil.
Fucking Neil. Like, and it's like Neil was the end thing. I was like,
are you kidding? Like, this is a good ending? Is Neil?
Yeah, she ends up with Neil.
And her dad's back. I mean, that's nice. But why isn't her dad like, who is this dude? And why are you kissing Neil? Yeah,
Neil's gross.
Ugh. God, he's like oily.
She gets an acorn necklace too at the beginning. That made me laugh.
Yeah. She gets an acorn necklace full of bombs. Yeah.
Acorn bomb. Pew.
Pew. That was great. I like that part. But no, I mean, like, okay, so one scene in general, I do think that this is like not unempowering for young women, right? Mm-hmm. I just thought that like I mean, I guess that this is the nature of choose your own adventure books, is that it's the illusion of choice, because you just got to kneel, like, no matter what. Like, I think some of them, when I was a kid, if I remember right, and I don't know if I remember right or not, would offer you a choice at the beginning that was a true branching choice. So you would end up with like kind of one half of the book or the other half of the book.
Yeah.
But in this, you just, you just end at the same place.
And there are drawings of Neil, and he just looks so smarmy. He's got like slicked back blonde hair that's like right there at that McConaughey line, like right at the like the end of the neck.
You better be real funny if you're gonna like.
And he's like, I'm a bard. Like, I was like, oh gosh, she's gonna fall for this dirty musician. I can tell.
And I did everything to stop it from happening.
Me too. I felt like I was like, I have to save you, Gwynne, from this guy.
I was absolutely hundo p sure when we met him that he was the bad guy.
Yes. I was like, this is because he was so smarmy. Yes. Just like, hey. And there's also this part where like you could choose to kiss Neil or you could choose not to kiss Neil. And I was like, obviously, if I kiss Neil, this is going to be a horror movie situation and I'm going to get killed.
He's going to open his mouth up. There's going to be another mouth in there.
Yes. Yep. And so I chose not to. And like the line was like, I'm not one of your girls from that college town. And I was like, so I like that they have higher education towns in D&D.
Yeah, they do.
That there's a whole like college, infrastructure and, institutions of higher learning and cities built around it. And that they call them college towns. But I was also like, is there D&D sororities? Like D&D fraternities? Like, is Neil part of the...
Well, in the Underdark, there sure as fuck is.
Like, is Neil part of the bad fraternity from Revenge of the Nerds?
Probably.
And like, is our girl gonna be in the Omega Moos? Like, is she an Omega Moo? And like, because really, then she needs to be hanging out with the Tri-Lambs. So...
I don't think anybody well, I mean, I guess it does have the word nerd in the title, but I'm sure that no analyses of this go to Revenge of the Nerds, but ours.
I can make anything go back to Revenge of the Nerds.
I can see that. I can see that.
Lamar is actually like a really like progressive character. Like for all the terrible things that happened, with the nerds and the sex scene and that one, in the carnival. But we can go back to Lamar, who is actually accepted, and like they don't try to change Lamar. They change the javelin to fit Lamar. They don't try to make Lamar adhere to societal standards.
Oh, yes. An incredibly woke and progressive movie, Revenge of the Nerds. I remember it that way.
Yeah, exactly. That's a new take.
So, I mean, we got to endings.
We did.
I mean, all the endings that don't end up with you dying end up with at least, your dad is back doing his, like...
And you're with Neil.
And you're with Neil. So, I mean, wait, did he die in one of them? He might have.
There's one where it's like you could save Neil. I don't know. I tried to actively not save Neil, and he kept coming back.
Yeah, he's like herpes. You can't get rid of Neil.
Yes, I was like, God, this fucking guy Neil is.
So in other words,
here.
so my understanding of how a choose your own adventure romance book should be is that what you're choosing is not really whether or not we're gonna like pick the coffin or the statue, but will we end up with this guy?
I felt like, again, if I'm gonna like redo these, my choose your own adventure for romance is like you choose between dudes, like,
and that's like all the Japanese ones, like all the hentai games, are
yes, or like the blind date game or whatever. Like you choose your guy. I don't want Neil. Like give me the lumberjack. There's got to be some like hot hunter, burly hunter running around here that just wants to be left alone, but like his heart is too big and he's got to help me anyway. Where is he?
I would have taken a particularly suave spider.
What do you call it if you have the reverse of arachnophobia? What's like
arachnophilia?
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
Yeah, it's got 8 legs, all for you.
There you go. 8 arms to hold you tight by the goon squad.
There you go. It's got some. Well, no, I guess it does have spinnerets, right? Even a boy spider.
I don't know. I'm not
boy spider. A man spider, baby.
That's right. Boys 2 men spiders.
Oh God. So, questions.
Okay.
Big dick energy or big dick energy?
Well, we hated Neil.
Yeah, we hated Neil. And the other guy was like my other guy, I mean like the Lightyear, the bad guy. He was also like super gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. I mean, like he never made a sexual threat, but it felt like he was.
There's no good options.
No. This is a hellscape full of spiders and bad decisions. And
yes, and
moms.
yeah.
Would you talk shit with or about the heroine?
Well, you're kind of her. Like, it's one of those
I
where,
mean,
like...
that was always the nature of these. Well, and actually, like, unlike... So the genuine Choose Your Own Adventure, the on-brand ones, it was just you, and they were super gender neutral. And even, like, the illustrations were supposed to be super gender
So I guess I would talk mad shit about her because I talk mad shit about myself.
Yeah,
so.
I guess so. I guess I agreed. But, like, there's more of a character to her because there almost has to be because it's a romance.
Yeah.
But none of it was... And there wasn't a lot there.
No.
This is aimed at girls who are too young. This should have been aimed at, like, the 17-year-old fan, who, frankly, is who can drive themselves to a goddamn D&D thing and eat a bunch of Cheetos anyway.
That's
so
true.
This seems like it was aimed too young.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I mean, maybe that's because of the whole, like, Satanist. I had an ex ages ago who, when he played D&D in high school, his mom came in, and you know how your mom will come in and she's gonna have a pretext for, like, asking you something that's, like, important, and so she'll do, like, dumb stuff with your laundry and then finally sit down and be like, is it true that in that game you get points if you call your parents?
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah.
This is what I open. Yeah.
So, like, maybe they wanted to keep it extra sweet because they didn't want to be accused of also sex murder. I don't know.
Sure.
So, but it did feel like she was too young for her age.
Yes.
Bechdel the bitch.
It actually passes it because she's talking, like, with Beryl and Tessa and
about mouse stuff and
stuff.
rescuing stuff and adventure shit. Yeah. So, I mean, there's women in this. There's actually several women in this, and they thumbs up on the Bechdel the bitch thing. When it comes to consent, is this book more Robin Thicke or Marvin Gaye? Wasn't there kind of a gross thing about the kiss? Wasn't it like she doesn't kind of really want to? And
yeah, because again, he's trying to put the moves on her, and that's when I chose not to kiss him. And, like, he was like, "It's cool, I can wait." But it's also...
Sleep with one eye open.
It was also just, again, the smarminess of Neil is just too much.
Yeah, I feel that it's non-consensual to have a conversation with Neil.
Exactly.
How badly are you judging your mom off for reading this book? I'm pretty sure that all of my grandmothers were a little bit sure that D&D was at the devil. So.
Yeah, I remember watching the D&D movie with Tom Hanks at my grandmother's house because that's what we would do is watch the movie of the week. So I'm sure she would have been like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, absolutely not. Would Scarlett Johansson be in the movie?
I mean, probably.
Everybody's white.
Well, they're about to make the D&D movie, so...
I know they already made it. It came out. It's getting great reviews.
Yeah.
I don't go to the movies anymore. I didn't even think about it, but this is the great tie-in episode.
I know. We did that. Hey,
yeah.
You know what?
Chris Pine is now Best Chris. So
here you think. You just cut that out. We totally tied this in.
Oh, okay. Yeah. We did this because...
He is the best Chris, and I'm like... All these bitches now are like, oh, Chris Pine is the best. I was like, I've been saying Chris Pine is the best Chris since the Chris's happened.
He reads real books.
He does.
Like real books. Like he gets pap coming out of like bookstores and he's reading like, God, there was one, it was like some architecture thing and Tender is the Flesh.
I love him
like,
so much.
Shit.
He's the best Chris.
Let's have cannibal sex. You haven't read Tender is the Flesh.
No, that's fine.
Oh, well. You're not leaving the house looking like that. There are no outfits in this book.
There should have been, too. Like, this felt like it was ripe for outfits.
Yeah, dresses. Come on. You get your hoopalons. You get your Code Hardys. You get your... I was also in the SCA in college.
Of course you are.
Of course I was. Yeah, there are no outfits. I bet Neil might have an outfit.
Yeah, Neil gets it. Like, again, we get more about Neil than anything else.
Barfity barf. Would your 12-year-old self have darkened pages? Yes, because I needed to know where I made the choice that I was regretted.
Yes, like I had my fingers all up in this book. It looked like I was like...
But it doesn't have any sex in it.
No, my fingers were in there.
There's not even any heaving bosom.
My fingers look like, you remember those things like you used to take that had all the little individual pins and you'd push your hand on it?
Yeah.
It was like that. I was like in there because I was like, I got to go back to this because I know I'm going to die.
And there would be like 4 pages. Like, I don't have time for 4 pages. You just tell me now.
Yes, exactly. I was like, that's fine. Like,
just get it over with.
Yes.
Yeah, I did find this high anxiety to read. Like, what are the stakes? What are the fucking stakes? Well, I know. I guess the stakes were high because I didn't want her to end up to Neil.
No.
What pairs did I see with a dumpster fire? Well, I got a wine. I forgot to say. I almost got this 100 Stories wine, which is $11 at Costco. But then I saw this 3 Thieves wine, which is also sort of a D&D idea. And that was rated as a best buy at $6 and some.
Yes.
So I got that one.
I love that. And then should a person in the 21st century read this book?
Only for curiosity.
Yeah, it's like it's an interesting thing. They're really kind of a cool artifact of this time period. And it's a cool thing to see how to look at the books and the literature that like go with this game and to kind of examine it from this material culture standpoint. But unless you like really want to deep dive into that, then like
this is the most ephemeral of this kind of ephemera.
Yeah.
Like it was very short lived. It is super out of print. Hella expensive if you have a copy. But it's not. But you can get it in your library loan. So at your library, if you really want to find out. Yeah. And I liked that they put the work in. I mean, like I said, it's got a Larry Elmore cover.
Yeah.
It feels like they put like a D&D product.
Yeah.
Like a TSR product. It's just that it's not very good. No, it's not.
All right. So this has been Bodice Tippler's take on, I'm not even going to.
Talisman of Valdegarde.
And so you can find us on Twitter until Elon Musk like nosedives it at BTipplers. You can find us on Facebook with Bodice Tipplers, bodicetipplers.com. And if you want to throw a little bit of money our way, it's patreon.com/Bodice Tipplers.
Bodice Tipplers is part of the Frolic Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts.